Hello everyone and welcome to our afternoon streaming show. I am Robinson Miles. Sadly, it is just me today. Jamie is needed elsewhere, and so you're just once again stuck with the substitute teacher. Now, we do have a lot of stuff happening across the tri-state today, so we're just going to go ahead and jump right in. First things first, we have an update out of Owensboro. In court today, two young men charged in connection with the death of an Owensboro man. Attorneys for 20-year-old James Carr and 19-year-old Aiden Farrow say the shooting of 19-year-old Brody Lanham was an accident. They claim Lanham told Carr to fire the gun to scare some people away. They say the gunshot accidentally hit Lanham. Attorneys say Carr drove him to the hospital in Farrow's truck. The victim's impact statement was read by the other person who was shot. Now, Emma Beck just got back from court, and we'll have more on that and the semi-driver accused of hitting and killing the tow truck driver. Now, for our second update, we're going to come back to Evansville here. Of course, it just wouldn't be a standard day unless we had something on road construction, and certainly I am not here to disappoint you all. A big traffic alert for drivers on the east side of Evansville. Now, starting tomorrow, crews are going to be shutting down an Interstate 69 exit ramp to the Lloyd Expressway. That's going to make things a lot more complicated for those that go through there. That means drivers heading south on I-69 and trying to exit, take a look at this, to the westbound Lloyd, will have to use all three ramps of the Cloverleaf. So drivers will exit to eastbound Lloyd, take the other ramp back to north I-69, and exit one more time to the westbound Lloyd. Now, this is all part of the Lloyd for You work. Crews will be reworking the closed ramp for about 30 days. You're going to have to get used to this one. Now, officials say the detour, of course, will be posted. Now, for our final headline today, we're going to go to Union County. This is going to be an important one for all you animal lovers, animal welfare advocates out there. Union County Animal Control officials say that they are full, and on top of that, they just had to take in 10 more dogs. Now, officials say they have 6 puppies who are in need of a foster who can help them with socialization. Now, there are also several adult dogs in need of fosters. Now, if this sounds like you, log on to 14news.com to fill out an application. Now, of course, if you've spent any time outside this week, things are changing, so we're going to go ahead and throw things over to someone who knows a whole lot more about that.
Stay informed on your local news and weather throughout the day by watching the 14 First Alert streaming shows. At 8:30 a.m., get your First Alert forecast to plan the day ahead and catch up on the news that happened overnight with the 14 News Sunrise team. In the afternoon, get the latest headlines, forecasts, and a preview of the stories we're working on with the 14 First Alert streaming show at 2:30. And get an in-depth look at the 14 First Alert forecast so you're ready for the next big thing with the 14 First Alert weather show at 9 p.m. Watch the 14 First Alert streaming show that fits your schedule and works best for you. Streaming on your phone by downloading the 14 News app and the 14 First Alert weather app. On your smart TV by using the 14 News streaming app. And stream anytime on Facebook, YouTube, or on 14news.com. Stay connected and stay informed by watching the 14 First Alert streaming shows on your favorite streaming devices.
Good afternoon, it's meteorologist Michael Fecka. Welcome back to the weather portion of our afternoon stream show. We're going to start off here with a look at our headlines. Well, we started out this morning a bit cold, cloudy, with even a few snow showers across the tri-state. Since then, we have cleared out and dried out across the entire region, and sunshine is helping our temperatures warm right back up to where they should be for this time of year, sitting mostly in the low to mid 50s right now, but we'll tack on a few more degrees through the next couple of hours, especially with a warm wind coming in from the south. Now, the warm-up doesn't stop there. We get even warmer here through the middle and end of the work week, just in time for spring, but we are tracking out another cold front that's expected to move through at the end of this weekend, and that will kick us off with cooler temperatures for next week. So I'll break down all those details for you coming up here, but let's start off with a look at our radar across the country. We have this string of stationary fronts along with a little shortwave area of low pressure. That is what kind of kicked off some of those showers we saw earlier this morning. Again, most of that did fall in the form of a few snowflakes. Taking a look at this longer loop here over the last 12 hours. So we started off winter still holding on to us here for this morning, but now we're starting to see some of that springtime return as we head through the afternoon. So mostly sunny across the board here through the tri-state, barely even a cloud in the sky at this point. And looking at our temperatures, as I mentioned, we've warmed up mostly into the low to mid 50s, 54 degrees here in Evansville, 56 in Henderson, Madisonville, and Fairfield. Still a bit cool there out in Huntingburg, sitting at around 49 degrees. But looking at the next 12 hours, we'll pop on, all the way up into the mid 50s. Popping out at around 56, 57 degrees later this afternoon. And then as we head into tonight, clouds will begin to increase once again, but temperatures will hold steady there in the low to mid 40s. So not all that chilly, but definitely cooler still out there. And looking ahead to our Thursday, we continue to warm up. We'll have partly cloudy skies, maybe some spotty rain showers very, very early in the morning, but I think most of us will stay dry. And then similar to today, we'll start off with some of those clouds, but we'll see a return of that sunshine through tomorrow afternoon. Temperatures climb back up into the upper 60s to around 70 in a few locations. And then looking ahead to the weekend forecast, this is where things get real good. We'll top out in the mid 70s there Friday and Saturday, just in time for that spring equinox Friday morning. So for the first time, we're going to change over to a different season, and it's actually going to feel like that season. So we'll top out in the 70s there Saturday, and then even warmer there by the time we get into Sunday, topping out in the upper 70s to lower 80s, but we are tracking out a cold front moving in Sunday evening and into early Monday morning. At this time, it looks mostly dry out there. We may see a few sprinkles. That's why we have that 20% chance of some rain there, but it looks like a fairly dry frontal passage. That's just going to mostly cool our temperatures down through the start of next week. So let me show you what that looks like here on the longer range European model. Dry here through the end of the work week. A few clouds thrown into the bunch there for Saturday morning, but still mostly sunny through the day on Saturday. And there's that cold front descending upon us from the north. And as it moves in overhead, it could kick up a few sprinkles, not looking at anything severe or crazy or anything like that. But we will notice that colder air does plunge in from the north once again. So it's not going to be like a deep freeze like what we saw over the last couple of days, but it will take those temperatures back down into the 50s for the start of next week. So climbing through the 70s, topping out in the 80s there on Sunday, dropping down into the 50s for the start of the work week, but then we start to climb back up there towards 60 degrees by the middle of next week for Wednesday. So it's going to be, a couple more of these dips in temperatures, but each dip should be a little bit less colder than the one prior as we head into this new season. And looking beyond the next 7 days, our 8 to 10 day outlook here does show much of the country, not even just here in the tri-state, but through much of the Midwest, temperatures continue to rise above average. And to go with that, we're looking at around average or even slightly below average precipitation here within the tri-state, especially there across portions of the deep south, maybe a little bit more in the way of some rain or snow as you head farther north up towards the Great Lakes. So overall, a fairly quiet weather pattern is expected for us here through the next couple of days, if not the next week and a half. Outside of a few frontal passages with a few sprinkles, we're not expecting anything major here. Our hazard outlook, we aren't outlook for anything. We've got some windier conditions maybe farther off to our northwest by the time we get into the middle and end of next week. But again, fairly quiet here within the tri-state. So I've got a great 7-day forecast for you here, and I actually got the wrong day there for spring. So let me go ahead and pull up the correct one for you if I even have it in here, but just ignore that. The general consensus here is that it's going to be fairly quiet with warmer temperatures here through the next couple of days. Spring is not on Saturday, that will be on Friday, but we will see that drop in temperatures for the start of next week, only topping out in the 50s Monday, Tuesday, before climbing back up into the mid-60s by next Wednesday. And that's all I've got here for the forecast. Let me go ahead and take this full screen for you so you can get a better look at it. And we'll be back here again at 9 o'clock tonight for the all-weather, all-streaming show. But until then, we'll toss you over to 14 News at 4, 5, and 6 for all the latest news and weather headlines. Enjoy the rest of your day.